be on. Whoops. There you go. Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome into the Schaumburg Library, or welcome into the comfort of your own home, if you're watching from home. My name is Chris Corrigan. I am your Adult Programs Coordinator here at the library, and I am joined today by Allison Albrecht from the Village. You're the Director of Communications?
That's correct.
Haha, I remember some things. So she'll be here to give you another one of our wonderful Village updates. I know that Josie has handed out a survey too as well. If you could fill that out, it helps them know that they're giving you guys the information you need. And if you're like, hey, I'm at home, Josie didn't come to my house and hand me a survey, don't worry, you're getting one in an email after today's presentation, and again, they would really appreciate any feedback you could give them. I don't want to take up too much of your time. For our in-person audience, if you wouldn't mind just switching off your cell phones and any other electronic device that may make noise during the presentation, just to be respectful of your fellow patrons, and of course, Allison. For our at-home audience, I don't think your phones will disturb us here. However, if you're having any technical difficulties, you can reach out to me using the Q&A feature on your Zoom toolbar, and I'll be able to go back and forth with you and help you with anything that might be going wrong. If you're still experiencing some issues with Zoom, Zoom's just giving you too much trouble, we are live streaming this to our YouTube page, so you can go to YouTube, type in Schaumburg Library, find our page, and find the live stream of this event. Might help you out a little bit. If you have any questions at home for Allison about her presentation, you can throw those in the Q&A, and I'll be making sure to field those to her at the end of the presentation. For our in-person audience, we will also be taking your questions at the end of the presentation as well. And for our online audience, wow, I usually don't go back and forth this much. Usually I remember to keep it truncated. We have closed captions enabled. If that would be of use to you, you can turn that on or off as you wish using your Zoom toolbar. I have taken up enough of your time. I'm going to pass things over to Allison.
Thank you so much. All right. And hopefully everyone can hear me, obviously here in the room, so I'll make sure to speak up nice and loud. And then of course, welcome to those who are joining us online. Pleasure to have you with us. As Chris said, my name is Allison Albrecht. I am the Director of Communications and Outreach for the Village of Schaumburg. And what we're doing today is we're just providing some information on some things that are going on in the village. We have a variety of topics and things that we kind of put together for today's presentation. So as Chris mentioned, if you do have questions on anything, I'd like to get through the presentation first, but I'd be happy to answer anything at the end. And if I can't answer it, we'll certainly get that information from you and follow up with you after the fact. So again, thank you and welcome here to the library. Happy to be up here on the renovated second floor. It looks awesome, by the way. So yeah, let's get into it. And like I said, we've got a lot of different topics that we will cover today. And hopefully you'll get maybe a couple things out of this that you didn't know from before. So let's see, let's make sure my clicker is working, which it is. So that's good. We're off to a good start. So I just wanted to point out that since 2009, our village has implemented a property tax levy. And what that levy does, it does help fund our police fire operations, and it helps us make our public safety pension obligations. As you can see from the chart here, we've actually had a property tax levy and we've either reduced it or maintained it since it has been implemented in 2009. And so what the interesting part is that we are now obviously in 2024, and our board as of last night has a proposal to go ahead and maintain that property tax levy again, so that we're keeping it at the same level it's been at since 2019. So that is good news. What that means for homeowners is that estimated taxes from 2024 are going to be similar to what was paid in 2023. So a village portion of your property tax bill is about 6%. This will be set in stone come December. And then we're actually in the process of doing budget planning for our next fiscal year already. So our fiscal year runs May 1st, but it does take us quite some time to get our budget together. So that's why we start working on these areas right now. So that is something good that we have just done as of actually last night. So one of the things that we've done recently that you may have read about in the news, we as a village like to survey our community every 3 years, and we do that with the National Community Survey. This survey is sent to random households in the village. It's done by postcard, and it's also done via online format as well. And the reason we do this is that we are looking for resident feedback to know what it is we're doing well with and what are areas that we can improve upon. So we take that feedback, and it does help us in terms of future policies that we may implement. It helps us with budget planning. It helps us set the priorities for every single fiscal year that comes after. So we do take a look at that feedback to understand what it is we as a village are doing and what are we doing well, or what do we need to improve upon. So we actually just completed our national community survey this fall. So we are actually in the process of computing that data, compiling everything, and we're anticipating we'll be sharing that data in early 2025. So keep an eye out for that. I will note that the township, which is different than the village, township also did a similar survey, as actually a couple different feedback. The other thing I wanted to mention is that, speaking of feedback, something the village implemented in 2024, we actually have a new public engagement portal that we have launched. We call it Schaumburg Engage, or I should say Engage Schaumburg, schaumburg.com/engage. What we're looking for here is that anytime that we have large-scale projects going on, or we have something that we really want the public's feedback on, we're asking them to actually create an account and be able to go in and provide that particular feedback. So we've done this actually a couple different times already. We've done it on a health services needs assessment survey that we did earlier this year. One I want to point your attention to is that we're going to be actually using this portal to get information about potential improvements to Spring and Scooth Road. So there's been a lot of talk in the past. Spring and Scooth Road has a lot of traffic. There's a lot of things that we want to look at from our transportation department, ensuring safety, making sure that traffic is flowing freely, where it's working for pedestrians, motorists, et cetera, et cetera. We've got some potential projects that are planned along that Spring and Scooth corridor. So this is a perfect example of, we're going to be asking residents to come and sign up for an account and be able to provide feedback on potential improvements that might be looked at for that particular project. And so the nice thing about this portal is that once you sign up, you can get information on other projects that are going on that we might be seeking feedback from. So again, this is just another way that we're trying to further engage with the community that we serve, to make sure that, there's input and two-way communication going back and forth. And you can find this easily by scanning the QR code that's on this particular slide, or you can actually just go to our website. It's right on the homepage, schaumburg.com/engage. And you can find it on the homepage as well. And certainly feel free to ask us too, but the very next one will be on Spring and Scooth, and I believe we're going to be asking for feedback in the next couple of weeks, so keep your eyes open for that, because we really do want that input. Speaking of roads, we have a project that wrapped up this past year, which you're probably all familiar with, but I just wanted to highlight it because we're excited that it's done. National Parkway reopened this summer. That was a project that was Gulf to American, where we did storm sewer relocation. We had an installation of a roundabout at American Lane. And then we also had sidewalk and street lighting improvements all in that area. So really pleased that was a long-term project over a couple different years. Happy to have that one wrapped up this past year. So that's one of the street improvements that we were able to complete this past year. Also, just recently, we did reopen Rodenberg Road. That was another also kind of a bigger long-term pain point kind of project. That was a joint project with the Village of Roselle. We did Irving Park Road to the village limits. It was a full reconstruction of Rodenberg Road. We did storm sewer, concrete curb, new roadway. There's a new 8-foot wide multi-use path on the east side of the road. And then Metro also did some improvements to the actual railroad crossing in that area as well. So another very large scale project that we were able to get completed this past year, and happy to see that new roadway reopen for the public. In terms of some current projects going on, we also have some Cook County projects in the works right now. Our Cook County Traffic Signal Modernization Program is going on. Again, this is not a village program, but I just wanted to make you aware of it because it is something that's impacting, obviously, our residents and the motorists that use our roadways. This is happening on Schaumburg Road at multiple intersections. Cook County is removing and replacing traffic signals. They're upgrading equipment. They're doing some median improvements in some areas, and they're also doing some ADA ramp accessibility improvements. This was a project that started earlier in the year. They're expected to be done in March of 2025. Another county project that you're probably very well familiar with if you traveled along Plum Grove Road. This was a project that we were made aware of earlier this year. Cook County's doing pavement maintenance project all along Plum Grove there. So that is taking place between Nergy all the way to Higgins. So it's a pretty long stretch of roadway there. And obviously, if you've been out there lately, you've probably noticed some of the pavement patching, curb and gutter work that's happening. They're doing some shoulder widening, some median improvements, some ADA improvements out there as well. Again, another long-term project that the county is working on, and they are estimating a spring 2025 construction completion date. I know at some point, I believe they're going to shut down for the winter season, although it's not really looking like winter out there, so hopefully they're getting some additional work done. But that will be a little bit a source of pain for a little bit, but obviously there was some needed improvements that were necessary, so we'll be happy to keep you informed of that project as it goes forward. A lot of these construction projects that I've just talked about, you can actually get updates on a lot of these big construction projects by signing up for our e-newsletter. It comes out every Friday, and I'll talk a little bit more about that at the end of the presentation. But we would like to continue to provide other updates on that as it goes along. I also wanted to talk a little bit about shared street progress. We have work continuing at our 90 North Park, so up on the north side of town. We actually had a project begin this past year to create a shared street. So this is right off of Progress Parkway and along Parkside Drive, some of those newer roadways out there. So if you're ever going over to Topgolf perhaps, or going by Motorola, over by Bowler, alongside that park there on the west side, we are working on completing that shared street. That did not really exist before, but it's something that has been an infrastructure project that's been going on this year. This roadway is meant to be a multifunctional space. It's adjacent to the park, and as we continue to build out this area, the idea is that when we do have additional programming and things that are built up on the park side, you'll be able to utilize that roadway for parking, for pedestrian uses, maybe street vendors that come in. So it'll be a nice shared use for the village. So that has been a project that we started on earlier this year. It includes a lot of infrastructure work. So we're talking new storm sewer, water main, sanitary sewer all along that area. It'll be lighting that'll be coming in there as well. So that work is continuing and anticipated to be complete towards the end of the year here. We talk about roadways, but another thing that falls into our area of importance is actually bicycle and pedestrian path upgrades as well. This is actually a photo from our recent Farad Tour von Schaumburg bike ride that takes place every year in June. What we heard, I was talking a little bit about getting feedback from folks. In the last couple of years, we found out from residents that walking and biking is actually very important to Schaumburg residents. And not that we didn't know that, but it's good to confirm some of those things. And again, helping us to prioritize as we go forward. We're taking a look that out of some of the data that we got from a park district survey, we partner with them sometimes, and they share some of the information that they get. They had quite a few people that were interested in walking and biking trails and improvements to those areas. So that is an area that the village is also focused on. There's obviously a lot of bikeways and roadways, bikeways and pedestrian ways throughout the village that we want to make sure are upgraded and improved as well. So in our 5-year capital improvement plan, we are utilizing approximately $2.8 million that are going to be programmed to do bikeway improvements coming forward. So we're actually in the process of putting together this year's capital improvement plan. So that will basically talk about all of the funding and all of the projects, the road projects and bike projects that we've got coming up. That will be approved. Typically it's approved in early January. So we're in the process of kind of wrapping that up. So I can't talk about specific projects on tap just yet because we're still finalizing that. But there'll be more information coming about bikeway improvements that might be on tap for the years to come, as well as other big, large roadway improvement projects that are coming to you. So more to come on that, but that is an area of focus for the village as well, based on feedback. So your feedback is important. Also wanted to talk just a little bit about, we talk a little bit about the different ways to get around in the village. We've talked about some roadway projects, some bicycling options. For those of you in the room and also online, also want to make sure that you're aware that the village does offer the dial-a-ride transportation if you've ever used it in the past or you've just needed a ride somewhere. This is door-to-door service within Schaumburg for a fare. We also have free and reduced rates available. So it is something that I wanted to make you aware of and just make sure that it is a service that we provide. You can always get in touch with our transportation department if you want to learn more. We also have information on our website as well. DART does go to a variety of locations within the municipality boundaries. It includes you can actually go to Harper College, Conant High School, the Township of Schaumburg, and it does run at a variety of different times. So certainly if you're looking to learn more information, it's a great option for residents who maybe don't have their own set of wheels, or maybe they have limited use to vehicle transportation. It's a great option for folks that might need it. We also have our Woodfield trolley. It's also a free service that is provided through a partnership with PACE. We are going to be offering our expanded service starting for the holiday season. That will start right after Thanksgiving. So if you're one of those folks that likes to eat a bunch of turkey and then go out shopping, well, you don't have to drive around our Schaumburg shops if you don't want to. You can just jump onto any one of the stops at the Woodfield trolley and get wherever it is you need. Basically, it's convenient one-stop shopping. Park your car, get on, ride around, and then come on back, and that's pretty much all you have to do. So a lot of other information also on our website as well about that free service. Speaking of shopping and kind of getting out there, at this time of year, I always like to talk a little bit about new businesses that have opened recently. Schaumburg is obviously known for its business community. We want to be supportive of that business community. There's a number of places that have opened recently. So as I always say, shop local. It does help the tax base. It does help our businesses stay open. We did have our Chipotle location open recently on October 31st. It actually features a Chipotle lane, which allows guests to pick up online through the drive-thru. It's a unique location for us in Schaumburg, so that is something new for our Schaumburg customers. We also had Krav Maga Force opened in early October, located near Barrington and Schaumburg. That's kind of an interesting self-defense training and fitness center. So if any of you are making New Year's resolutions to get in shape or maybe take a fun class, check that out. Melt and Dip, which is actually the bottom right photo there, is in the new building in the former Fuddruckers location. They're offering waffles and crepes, topped with all kinds of goodies. Great for the perfect dieting right after the holidays, right? We do have Salon Lofts that just opened. They are near Kohl's and Target off of Higgins. Offer stylists, beauticians, massage, a variety of services there. We also have Schaumburg Honda, which opened in late September. And actually, the interesting fact about the Schaumburg Honda is that it is the world's largest Honda dealership, which is pretty cool to say that we have right here in Schaumburg. It's a 53,000 square foot showroom. They have a children's play area, a rooftop lounge for employees, a whole lot of amenities. So it's a pretty cool establishment. So if you're looking for a new vehicle, check them out. And then we also have Sweet Reserve Cafe and Bakery, which is the bottom photo in our town square, so right next door here. They opened in September, offering a lot of goods and sandwiches and Turkish breads and coffee, so a variety of goods and services there. And then Well Groomed, which is a designer and custom Indian wedding and party wear place. They're next to Art Fused on Schaumburg Road. They just opened recently as well. Some of the things going on over at Woodfield, never want to forget about Woodfield Mall. Recently opened Abercrombie & Kids, offering jeans and outerwear. Aritzia, a luxury store with clothes crafted in premium fabrics. And Size, a local boutique specializing in new and restocked jeans, shoes, and accessories. And then we also have a couple things coming up for the coming soon in Woodfield. We've got Ben & Jerry's, which who doesn't love ice cream? Ben & Jerry's, we've got all of their goodies that they offer. We've got Chubby Cattle is another one. All you can eat Wagyu beef, which is kind of interesting. And then we also have Aloe Yoga as well. So a couple different things coming into Woodfield Mall. They keep obviously bringing in some really good retailers, some really good developments that are going on there. And as you also know, Santa is already at Woodfield Mall. So the holidays are officially upon us, if you haven't already known that. Couple other things coming soon. We've got Aspen Dental is a dental practice that's coming soon, supposed to be opening in early December. We have Lao Hung Hu Tong, sorry if I'm mispronouncing that, Chinese cuisine. And they're going to be in the former Boston Market location at Golf and Roselle. So that'll be really fun to have that back. And we don't have an opening date just yet for them, but certainly once we know more information, we will share that as we can. We also have Sky Zone. They're renovating the Bye Bye Baby space. That's going to be a trampoline park with trampoline courts, climbing walls, zip lining, dodgeball, and more. Again, don't have an opening date just yet on that one, but we'll be super excited to see them come in. We also have Veterinary Emergency Group, which is right next to Target and Kohl's. It's actually their 6th location in Illinois. And they're going to be a place that trains to treat critical pet emergencies. And I think they are expected to open by the end of this year. So that'll be fairly soon here. And then we also have another Xfinity store by Comcast opening in the outlet of the PGA Superstore. So that will replace one of their current existing locations. So that will be coming in soon as well. So a lot of exciting things going on in the Village, out and about town and around town. So one of the things I also wanted to point out as we talked about some capital improvement and kind of coming soon things, you may have also read in the news that the Village is currently planning for a new Village Hall to be built, actually a new Village Hall and a new police station. So we've been working diligently. Our Village Hall was built in 1971. We've had some studies done on the building. It's an outdated facility. We've had some growth within that building that it no longer accommodates, and a lot of other issues at this point. So we have been working with a consultant, an architect, to come up with these designs. These got approved recently, which is kind of showing a little bit of the schematic designs for the new Village Hall. We'll be in the same location, so where we're currently at 101 Schaumburg Court, just will look a little bit different than it has in years past. The unique thing about this project too is that obviously we're going to tear down the current Village Hall and build a new Village Hall, which means we are going to be moving our Village Hall operations. So if you come in to buy, to pay your water bill, if you come in to get your permits, all of those operations are going to move to a temporary Village Hall. We're targeting April of next year for that move to take place. And what that means is that all the operations within Village Hall will be moving over to 1000 Woodfield Road, which is another building that we purchased for this purpose. We'll be operating out of a temporary Village Hall for probably until the end of 2026. This will get built, and then we will move on back into our new location. And then 1000 Woodfield Road, that building, which is an outdated office building, will be demolished, and we'll be building a new police facility at that location. So we've got a lot of things moving operations that are going to help in terms of our efficiency, in terms of just providing better services, and just accommodating all of the employees that we have working at these facilities. So a lot of big changes on the horizon for this project as well. I will also say there's been a lot of talk online whether or not we're raising taxes to be able to build this. The answer is no. When we do have excess reserves in our budget, we do use it to fix more roads. We do use it for capital improvement projects, which this is. So all of that money is being repurposed to help rebuild some of these facilities that are long past their due date in terms of replacement. So it is a big project, and we'll certainly have more information as we go along, but wanted to make sure you're aware of that as well, because it is a big project for us coming up. And we also have to make sure that we're continuing to serve the village in the best way possible. So, a couple other things, new developments on the horizon. Crossroads of Schaumburg. It's a multi-tenant shopping center. It was actually approved earlier this summer. This is going to be built at Meacham and Gulf Roads. So the old, I believe it was the Macy's furniture store that was there on the corner there, was leveled and is getting prepped for this new multi-tenant shopping center to get built. We do have a variety of restaurant uses that are already planned for this area. So it'll, that's a highly sought after location. That's a prime area for traffic and folks to come visit. So we want to make sure we have some good tenants there. So that is a project that is anticipated to begin construction in the spring of next year. They're actually going through the permitting process right now. So look for more information on that, hopefully fairly soon as well, into next year. One of the other things you may see if you're traveling on, again, more towards the north side of town, on Roselle Road there, right off of Hillcrest Boulevard, just south of I-90. This is I just took this photo last week, I think it was. So very modern photo of what's going to be the Lurie's Children Outpatient Center. So they have made a lot of progress on that. They had a groundbreaking ceremony earlier this year. This is kind of where they're at right now. It will be the organization's first ground-up build since their main hospital in 2012. So we're very excited to have them here in Schaumburg. It's going to offer pediatric care for a variety of specialties, not only helping obviously Schaumburg, but just the Northwest region as well. So we're talking 85 full-time employees, and they're anticipating around 60,000 patient visits. So it's going to be a very hopefully profitable business venture for the village. Construction, as I said, is underway, expected to be completed in fall of 2025, so we'll see how that works out. Right down, well, I'm turned around, but right over here on the corner here, we are actually, you can see progress underway on Hopscotch. It's a British pub-style restaurant that will be coming soon, also having a patio and rooftop deck. This is a picture from the groundbreaking ceremony that occurred a little bit earlier this year. It already looks, from what I just drove, I keep pointing over here, but I think it's over there. What it can tell is that they've already made some pretty good progress on construction for that development as well. So we're excited to finally welcome them. I know that took a little while to kind of get going, but they're certainly making good progress on it, and I think it'll be a great addition to Town Square. It's right next to Oberweis Dairy. Obviously, will be great when the farmers market is going on, events that are going on at the library. It'll be a place to kind of go and hang out, grab a bite to eat, get a few drinks. So we're excited to welcome that parcel and that development into Town Square that basically kind of completes the open parcels that were left here in Town Square. So nice to see that kind of getting filled finally and having a good, unique place coming to Schaumburg. Also coming soon, very excited about, as I mentioned before, this idea of what's going on in 90 North. We talk a lot about things that are happening on the west side of Meacham Road. East of Meacham Road, so right next to the Renaissance Hotel and Convention Center, we're in the process of building Andretti indoor karting and games that they had a groundbreaking ceremony in September. So we just celebrated that momentous occasion. And construction is now underway. It's all fenced off. They've got some equipment out there mobilizing. What they're building there, it is a $30 million investment, so it's a huge investment for the village. It will include a bar and restaurant, multi-level indoor electric karting track, duck pin bowling lanes, 2-story laser tag, virtual reality, motion theater, state-of-the-art arcade. So just a lot of fun games and entertainment for that area. They are planning to open in early 2026. This development is looking to generate about 16 million in sales annually for the village. So very excited to be able to welcome them into Schaumburg. Also, in addition to this development, right next door is also planned a 900 space parking garage deck that's going to also be built right next to Andretti, and also the Renaissance right there. So that parking deck will help with additional parking for Andretti. It'll help with the convention center when we have large shows that come in there. All of that's being planned out, and that construction on that parking deck is happening at the same time as Andretti. So two big projects happening right next to each other, right in the area, just north of 90, next to the convention center. So that area is kind of the new area of what we are now calling the entertainment district, because we've got a lot of entertainment we're bringing in. We'll also be looking at some additional uses for that area. So we may be bringing in some other retail, restaurant. We kind of don't know just yet, but we do have some other plans for that area that are in the works. So more to come in that space, but this is certainly a very big deal for the village, bringing in some of that additional revenue, additional business, and just additional experiences for the community to take part of. As I mentioned, obviously we are in holiday times already, where we've got some stuff that's coming up that I just wanted to talk about just a little bit. We do have some things coming up at our Prairie Center. We've got Mystery at the Theater, which is actually happening this Friday, Saturday. A couple shows that are written by some staff in-house, a couple plays that are going on. It's a murder mystery, and it's called The Grizzly. So check that out online. We do have tickets available. We have our tree lighting ceremony that is coming up the day after Thanksgiving. So if you're not out and about shopping at Woodfield, maybe check out our tree lighting ceremony. That's free for the public. We've got Santa coming in on a fire truck. We got caroling. We got pictures with Santa. We've got photos that can be taken. And then we're also asking folks that do come to that event if they can bring some non-perishable food items. We are trying to help out the Schaumburg Township Food Pantry to help those less fortunate. So if you do plan on attending, if you can, bring some extra goods for that event. But it's a nice way to kick off the holiday season. It's a free event. Come check out our nice 22-foot tree in the plaza there and enjoy some holiday spirit. So it'll be a good time. Also following up, we've got some of our other holiday happenings. The Nutcracker, always a favorite for folks that tend to go to the Prairie Center for the arts. We've got multiple shows for the Nutcracker that are available. They do sell out quickly, so if you are interested, do not wait and try to get those, because they will sell out. They almost always do. But it's a good time to help celebrate the holidays with the village. Also have what the Prairie Center has been kind of doing some different shows. They have a segment that's called Thursday Night Laughs. It's been a comedy series that they're offering now, which has been a big hit. They always bring in a different lineup of comics. I believe it's every so often. I believe it's once a month that they're bringing in for their Thursday Night Laughs. So they got one coming up in December. So if you haven't checked it out, also a good time, because who couldn't use some laughter in these days and times, right? And then another holiday happening, we do have our Presto Holiday Concert. It's our youth orchestra teaming up with the Schaumburg Choral Program. So they'll be doing some holiday favorites, a great holiday concert for that time as well. So a lot of good stuff going on for the holidays coming up. Speaking of holidays, the picture doesn't do it justice, so I brought the real deal right here. We do have our village ornament that just arrived, and so it's just a cute keepsake. It's currently being sold at our Prairie Center for the holidays. $20 it is. I can't take your money here, even though I'd love to, but if you go to our Prairie Center, you can certainly purchase one of these. We also will have our previous year's ornaments available for $15 as well. So it's great stocking stuffer. It's a great gift for folks. This year's ornament is a picture of the village, and it has a cute sticker where you can kind of put your heart wherever you like. So I'll pass that around for some of you folks to kind of check out. But if you're interested, check it out. It's online. It's also at our Prairie Center, but get those before they are sold out. But yeah, super cute. A couple other things I just wanted to go over. The holidays obviously can be a time of joy, but also can be a time of loneliness as well for a lot of folks. And sometimes that is the case for a lot of our senior population. So for those of you that do not know, we have a Schaumburg Barn Senior Program available at our barn at 231 Civic Drive. They offer nutritious, affordable meals, socialization programs. They have our intergenerational garden. They offer group trips and outings. Just generally a place to gather with people from the community or neighbors or friends. I think it's a great place that offers a lot for our residents. So if you know somebody, if you yourself needs some additional camaraderie over the holidays or basically any time of year, feel free to check them out. They offer a lot for the community. Also, speaking of offering some things for the community, our Nursing and Senior Services Division, located at 746 East Schaumburg Road. We do have a medical equipment loan closet where we do loan out 90-day medical equipment loans. So if you're looking for a walker, a wheelchair, a knee cart, a cane, all kinds of things that you might need. Maybe it's something that happened recently or just something maybe you're gonna have a surgery planned, or maybe you just had a slip and fall and you need an aid. This is something that our village does offer. It's a cash security deposit. You can set this up and give them a call and they will be happy to meet with you and discuss your needs. And if it's something that they can't provide, they'll also get you in touch with somebody else that can help you and assist you. So our Nursing and Senior Services offers not only this particular program, but they do have a lot of other programs that are geared toward the senior population as well. So feel free, there's a lot of information online. If you haven't learned about it, you can always give them a call. We do have registered nurses that are part of our village staff, be happy to help you with things you might need assistance with. Another thing I just wanted to talk a little bit about, some opportunities if you're a person that wants to give back during the holiday season, or again, any time of the year. We do have a couple different programs that I just wanted to highlight that in case, again, if you're not familiar with, we do have a Neighbor Helping Neighbors program. This is a fund that's set aside to assist people with legitimate emergencies. So for instance, when we had a big fire with Emerald Village, last year I think it was, we had a lot of people that were displaced from that fire. So we were able to use the donations and funds from this fund to help get housing for some of those folks, temporary housing, until they could make arrangements and get food and things like that. So this is a great example of, again, it's neighbors helping neighbors. It's pretty explanatory, but it is something that does help our community when they do have a legitimate emergency. So it is run through our village department, and they do assist neighbors with that as needed. We do also have what's called a community assistance fund. This is a particular program that's run through our social services department in our police. This helps folks that may be affected by domestic violence and maybe other crimes. They will help families that are maybe in crisis situations as deemed by our police department. So this is a particularly important fund that, again, can help some folks in maybe the community that may be having a crisis situation and may need some assistance. So again, if you're able to go ahead and check that out if it's something of interest. We also have our Prairie Center for the Arts Foundation, dedicated to the growth and excellence of cultural arts in Schaumburg. So that is a foundation that helps the cultural arts scene, helps them make sure that young people and people who don't have access to the arts can go to programs, making sure that we're culturally rich as a community. That's a nice way to give back as well. We also have Citizen Police Academy Alumni Association of Schaumburg, which is a mouthful to say, but it is our independent organization that helps support our police department. So sometimes they will help get donations to help with maybe certain equipment purchases that might be relevant to our police department, or something that might help them do their operations better. A lot of our folks that help out with this particular alumni association are heavily involved in police and public safety. They want to give back, so this is a great way to do that as well. And then we do have a lot of different volunteer opportunities. So if you're looking for something to do, maybe just, again, want to give back, we have a list full of places that you can volunteer listed on our website, schaumburg.com/volunteer. So As I said, good for the holidays, good for any time. Feel free to check that out as well. And like I said, I know it is November and it's still 54 degrees out, but I have a feeling at some point there will be snow, I think. But if and when there is snow, I want to let you know that the village is prepared. We just held our annual snow and ice inspection event. We do that every year at the end of October. It's where our public works crews come together. They check out all the equipment. They make sure everything's working. They inspect everything. Basically go through this really long checklist to make sure that we've got everything we need, because you kind of never know when the snow is going to fly. One thing I just wanted to point out here is that when we do have a large-scale snow event or any kind of larger snow event where we end up doing snow operations from the village, we do have a map that we provide. It's called SnowStat. This will give the public near real-time updates on the status of plowing and salting operations during snow and ice events. Well, the reason why we created this is because every time we have a snow event, we get people like you who call in or email us and they say, I have not seen a plow come down my street in 20 minutes. Where are the plows? You can look and see where the plows are. So I joke a little bit, but at the same time, this was created to help inform you, to let you know when we do have snow and ice, our people are out there. This is where they're at. This map will tell you about general snow removal operations. It'll tell you the number and location of trucks in operation. It'll tell you what type of truck is assigned to a route. It will tell you the entire activity history for that particular snow event. So a lot of great information here. This is only activated when our snow command is activated. So you won't see this on a day like today, because we're not out there. But anytime that we do have any kind of call out where we do have folks that are out there getting in trucks and going out either salting or plowing, then this map gets activated. I will also say this map is only pertaining to village maintained roadways. So this will not tell you what is happening for state and county, which brings me to my next slide. So state and county, just so that you know, road responsibilities in the village are pretty complex. It's not just all the Village of Schaumburg. We do have quite a few roads that are under, obviously, the Tollway Authority, our tolls. We have Cook County Highway Department that maintains some of our roadways. And then we also have IDOT roadways. So we will often get a lot of folks that do call into the village and ask us why Gulf Road isn't plowed. Gulf Road is a state roadway. We do not maintain that. So we will, obviously, we'll work with the state. We try to let them know, we try to inform them, but that is another jurisdiction that is maintaining those roadways. So this is just something I like to show folks, just to remind them that we do have a lot of roadways in the village. Not all of them fall under the Village of Schaumburg. So you can find this list in, I think this is the complete list. You'll find this list on our website as well. So if you don't remember, you can't think of it, it'll be available on our website too. So just another one that I like to throw out there before we get into snow season, just because we end up telling a lot of people, that's not our roadway, I'm sorry, we can't plow that one. So we do have to work with those other agencies to make sure they do get plowed and cleaned up. A couple other things I wanted to touch on. This is just an opportunity, like I said, me coming out today, I'm just here to talk about some things that have kind of been done lately, some things that are coming up, some things that we're getting ready to do, but I am a spokesperson for the village. I do not make the decisions. The board makes the decisions. I'm just telling you what all it is they've decided and that we're doing. But you do have opportunities to talk with our village board. If there is something that you're interested in more on a policy level, or you want to lodge a complaint, you want to ask a question, you maybe want to give some praise to the village, you can come out to Coffee with the Council. It's the second Saturday of each month at 9 a.m. at our police community room. Great opportunity to get some face time with the elected officials. They'll be happy to take down questions, answer concerns, get back to you with anything that you might need. So it's a good time to chat with them. The second one on the list is called Chat with the Brass. It's held every third Thursday of each month. This is a great place for you to pose any police concerns. So if you're seeing speeding happening on a particular roadway, you're maybe noticing some sketchy behavior that you want us to look into, maybe you want to know what trends are going on, what should we watch, if something you're hearing about, whether it's scams, ask our police staff. You know, they're the ones that really see this stuff day to day. This is a great thing that they offer every third Thursday. That way you can have some FaceTime with some of the folks from our police staff, and they will answer those questions in a better way, and can also be in tune with maybe things that you might be seeing out on the streets that maybe they need to be made aware of. So another great opportunity to get in touch with the village as well. And then lastly, talking about just getting in touch, I mentioned quite a few times, a lot of the information that I've talked about today, a lot of the stuff is actually on our website, schaumburg.com. We do have quarterly Cracker Barrel publications, so hopefully you as residents receive our quarterly newsletter that comes out. Somebody say yes? Yes? All right, awesome. I will have you know that our department helps put that together, so thank you for reading that. So you may see some good information maybe that you just heard going out in that publication. Our winter one is actually at the printer right now, so we should be hopefully getting that out in mailboxes maybe in the next week or so, so keep an eye out for that. As I mentioned very earlier in my presentation, we do have a weekly progress e-newsletter that comes out. So if you're the type of person that can't wait for the Cracker Barrel, you can get news every Friday sent to your inbox email. So the e-newsletter is great because we talk about new developments that are going on. We talk about things that are just approved by the board. We talk about construction projects that are happening. A lot of the stuff that I've talked about a little bit today, we're putting that stuff in that e-newsletter. So it's a great resource if you're not already signed up. It is totally free. You can unsubscribe at any time if you don't like it. But I would strongly encourage you to take a look at that if you haven't. And actually, in addition to our progress report newsletter, we also have some other specific newsletters that relate to our senior population, and then also our economic development areas of interest too. So check that out if it's of interest. And then we also have our social media presence. If any of you like to be on social media channels, feel free to follow us there. And then lastly, I would say too, one of our greatest resources is that if you do need assistance in the village, I would prefer that you don't go on Facebook and ask everyone else the question. Please ask the village the question. We will give you the answer. We want to give you the answer. We want to give you the right answer. So if you need assistance, you can always dial 311 in the village. That will get you in touch with our customer service representatives. If they don't know the answer, they're going to get you to the right department that will get the answer for you. So we have those folks available to help you out as well. And if you don't get, sometimes people who live maybe on the outskirts of town, they dial 311. Sometimes it doesn't always go through, just because depending on what cell tower it hits. You can also dial our 847-895-4500 number instead. That will also take you right to that customer service line as well. And then lastly, if you see an issue, we do ask folks to submit a customer service request. That helps us out. The village is obviously a pretty big village, almost 80,000 people, and quite a few square miles to cover. So we don't see everything. And we try to get out there and make improvements along the way where we can. But if you see a pothole that needs to be fixed, if you see a broken street light, you see a sign that's knocked down that should be erect, all these kinds of things, you know, if you let us know, again, you can call our 311 and they can put in a customer service request for you. Basically, that says a problem has been initiated. It's going to get routed to the correct department. It's going to get assigned to someone, and then it's going to get followed up on and then completed. So it kind of puts it in the workflow so that we get it done. So again, if you see a complaint, don't go on Facebook and say, I have a complaint. Put it through the CSR system, because that is how it's actually going to get addressed. So it's just something I like to remind folks about as well. A couple different ways you can get in touch with us. And that concludes my presentation. So I want to thank you for your patience and your time, and just for being an attentive audience today. So hopefully I've maybe gone over maybe some things you already knew about, but maybe some things you didn't. And just maybe confirming some things maybe you heard about in the news, kind of telling you the backstory on a little bit. But I'd be happy to take any questions that you might have. And as I mentioned earlier, I may not be able to answer it today, but if I can't, I will get your information and then I'll make sure that we follow up with you so that we can get an answer for you. So I'm going to take a question from the audience first, and then we'll shoot over to questions that might be online. So how about you?
First off, great job. Thank you for all the information. With respect to what you covered at the very beginning of the presentation around Spring-Swift Road, are you in a position to provide any information on that, or is it better to go to that engagement site?
So the question, and I'm just going to repeat this for the online folks. So the question was in terms of what might be happening along Spring and Schuth Road when I talked about earlier in the presentation. So right now what we're looking at is I think there's going to be a survey that's put together in terms of, we want to get some feedback of what you might be seeing as issues. What might you be seeing that is a concern to you? What might be working well? We want to get some of that data input first. And then I think that will help kind of guide potential improvements or potential things that might be happening down the road. So the thought is that we want to ask you some questions first. We want to get that input, and that will help kind of drive perhaps some of the possibilities and things we might do with that corridor.
Perfect. So there's no decisions made. There's a rumor going around about a roundabout or something in Weathersfield and Springfield.
Yeah, and so I don't know if that's something that's planned or if that's just more of we're in a discussion phase on that. So this is a great opportunity for you to get some of that input in, and I think they'll also ask general questions too, what you'd like to see and that kind of thing. So I know we're still in the process of just finalizing that survey, so I can't speak specifically of what's in there, but I do know we're trying to wrap that up fairly soon because we do want to get that feedback in the next couple of weeks. So yeah, definitely take a look at that for sure. And we'll be pushing that out in our newsletter, on social media, in a couple different places. So definitely keep an eye. We'll have it on our website as well, on the homepage there, so when that goes live. And we have a question online.
We have a couple people online asking, what will replace the current police station once the new one is built?
What will replace the current police? Oh, so what's going on at the current police station? So as of right now, I don't have an answer for that. I just know that we're moving police station operations to 1000 Woodfield Road, but in terms of 1000 Schaumburg Road, which is where the current police station is, a decision has not been made yet of what is going to happen with that property and that parcel of land. So the board has not made a decision on that. I don't believe there's been any proposals yet for that area. We're kind of in the stage of, we got to get these other pieces together first. So I think there'll be probably in the next few years some decisions made on that, but probably anything immediately on that. So still more to come on that. Good question. And
is it likely that property will be sold?
So the question was, will the current police station, will that property be sold? That I do not know. Don't know on that. So yeah, don't have an answer yet. Trying to get the current police. I know, right? One thing at a time. We're getting there. But yeah, when we do make decisions on that, again, a lot of that information will be put on our channels in terms of what will be the future for that area. But yeah, it has not been told to me yet because I don't think we've decided it yet. So yeah, good question. Other questions online?
Yeah. I understand many of the accidents we've seen in the past year on Cook County roads were on Cook County roads, excuse me. I'm curious if the village and Department of Transportation is advocating for safer street designs. The national stats show fatalities are on the rise and no one can deny the increased trend of reckless driving.
So we do work quite a bit with our county partners and state partners. They have engineers, we have engineers, we work together a lot of the time, and we don't do things usually in a tight vacuum. We do try to work with our partners the goal of all of the design that we do is to make sure that we're maximizing traffic flow, we're making sure that streets and intersections are safe for not only motorists, but also for pedestrians. We've got bicyclists that are out there. We've got pedestrians that are out there. We've got a lot of uses that are happening. So at the end of the day, we want to make sure whatever it is we're talking about in terms of improvements or things that might be being looked at for certain areas, what are the trends for it? We do look at a lot of that history and analytic data. That's something our transportation does quite a bit as well. We don't like to make knee-jerk type reactions. We like to look at the history of what's occurred. We look at police report crash data. We do traffic analysis studies when they warrant it. There's a lot of planning that goes into improvements that might be made. Now, I will say I don't know the exact process in terms of how we implement changes on roadways that are not maintained by the village. I know that we can provide information and data and recommendations to the county or other jurisdictions, but certainly, again, it's their decision to do what they will with their roadways. But we do want to work together on that to make sure that at the end of the day, we want a safe community, and we can't have certain intersections that are very dangerous. We want to make sure that we're both working towards the same goal. So I will say, if you have further questions about how that process works, I would certainly want you to maybe get in touch with our transportation department. I know they could speak more eloquently than I can about the process and kind of like how they do certain things. So I hope that helps a little bit. Another question in the audience here.
I know, where's the police community room? You referred to it twice.
Oh, sorry. So our police community room is actually in our police department. So our current police department, yes. So it's at 1000 Schaumburg Road, yes. I have to get that straight because there's literally.
There was a community room.
No, yeah. So I'm sorry. So any of the chat with the brass meeting is in the community room at our police department. So yeah.
And the other thing I want to ask is, I brought this up before to the village, and I was interested to know now they're building a new village hall. For those people who come to the lake to walk around the lake,
Yeah.
you can only walk 3 sides of the lake, sidewalk. And they told me they couldn't put in a sidewalk there to connect the two because of the angle of the property.
We have some sloping.
Yeah, but you build it up and you can go, because ADA, they can't get around.
Yeah.
And then it's all muddy there, and it's all full of goose poop and whatever, so you can't walk around the lake.
And I know.
Going to put a sidewalk in now next to the new village hall?
So the question is, will there be an additional sidewalk added to the current municipal grounds to help connect some areas? I don't believe there's one plan for that, but I also know we're still very much in the design phase of things. So, again, that is a real thing with some of the sloping. There's creek beds under there. There's a lot of.
Well, they get closer to the building.
Yeah. So it depends on the footprint of the building, because the building will be a little bit different footprint than what is there currently. So that's going to extend out a little bit. The parking lot.
There's people that are concerned about that.
Well, and again, going back to the walking and biking thing, where we can do those types of things, we're trying to accommodate that. And it's not only just for community purposes too. We got employees that work those grounds. We have people that come to visit there. We have people, we have obviously Septemberfest there. So just getting around in there, we want to make that accommodating for everything. But we also need to make sure that it can actually fit there too. So I don't know that it's something that's feasible for that area, but I know if it is, I'm sure we would be looking at that, just because if we're making improvements to that area, it's the time to do it. So, but yeah, there are some challenging slopes in that area. I've sat in on some of those meetings with the engineering folks, and they will either say what we can do and can't do in terms of how that footprint kind of lays out, because we are going to be making changes even to the entrance into Village Hall. That's going to get changed. The parking lot area is going to move and get changed. There's a lot of changes that are being proposed for that area. So I have a feeling there'll be some more discussions on that as we kind of get further on in the design process.
The Prairie Center building will remain there and remain the same?
Yes, so the question is, will the Prairie Center change at all from its current location? So the Prairie Center is not, at this time, is not moving anywhere, is not changing at all. That will remain on the other side of the plaza there. The plaza itself is supposed to remain the same. Everything, the Prairie Center and east, also remaining the same. We're just talking about anything west of the plaza. So, I'm going to go online and then I'll come back.
What's the status of the dispensary that was going to move into the former Omega Restaurant location on Wise Road near Irving Park Road?
I don't have the answer on that one. Can you if you can provide your contact information in the chat there, Chris, if you're able to capture that, I'd be happy to get a follow-up to you on that one. So that'll be with our community development department. I don't know if there's a permit in for that or not, but I'd have to check in with that.
If this patron provided their email with registering, I have their name here. I'll be able to
Perfect.
get the contact information for you.
Yeah, as long as we got a way to kind of connect that. So good question, but that's a very specific one and I don't have that answer. So I'm not even gonna guess on that one, so. Yeah, but we'll be happy to follow up with you because I don't know, I have not seen any other dispensary permits coming in lately, but I would need to check on that.
Well, I heard that there's only supposed to be 5
That is true.
and no more, so would that be 5 or would that be 6? Because from what I understand, most people are not for that.
You are correct, we can have up to 5 dispensaries. I don't know if we're at, I want to say we're at 4 right now, but I'd have to double check that. So I will take a look at that. I know we had another question right here in the.
Yeah, oh,
Yes.
I know they had talked about the Prairie Center, they were gonna put a theater over by the Renaissance. Is that still in the
No.
works? That's done.
That is done. So the question is, there was at one time a proposal to have a performance theater next to the Renaissance. So that Andretti, that whole development is now taking the place of that performance theater. That was an idea quite a few years ago now that it was a possibility that we might do that at one time. And I think as the years went by and some of the needs changed, it was decided that we weren't going to move forward with that particular performance venue, but we were going to kind of take the idea of having an entertainment area built up around the convention center. That piece of the puzzle is there. It's just not going to be a performing arts center as they were possibly looking at many years ago. So, good question.
I understand that Schaumburg Road is a county road, but if you drove the length of where it starts and where it ends down Schaumburg Road, you would see that the far east end is very nicely paved and marked, the far west end is nicely paved and marked. Are they not going to do the same to the middle?
Yeah, I don't.
Have you heard anything? Because if you work closely with the county.
Yeah, I haven't heard anything new that there's any plans for reconstruction or repaving or anything like that. I get notices from our engineering and public works crews when they get notified from county officials. That's how we kind of learned about Plum Grove Road. Sometimes they will have some planning meetings and we'll find out whether it's in their 5-year plan or their 3-year plan or whatever the county cycle is of planning. But I have not heard anything recently on that, but I can certainly follow up with our EPW folks and see if they've heard anything. But I don't have any knowledge of any construction on Schaumburg Road about to take place.
Repaving.
Or repaving, I should say. So, yeah. So, online question?
Has there been any feedback about the new traffic routing on Summit Drive during this year's Septemberfest?
Feedback. I don't know. So we take a look every time we have Septemberfest. Any of the changes that we made to Septemberfest in terms of our logistics or our planning or just even the way that we've operated, staff does take a look at that every year following the fest. We have a lot of after-action meetings where we kind of talk through what worked well and what maybe we need to modify for the following year. So I don't know in terms of feedback, if you're talking public feedback or just feedback from internal staff, but I'm not sure, I know that it worked well from internal operations. I do think that there's still some things we'll probably modify slightly because every year we look to make improvements to the way we host the fest. The fest is a huge, huge undertaking. There's a lot of disruption that happens. But there's a lot of things that we need to coordinate and make sure that we're able to, balance the needs of the neighborhoods, traffic, people getting to the fest, people enjoying the fest. There's a lot of stakeholders that are involved in that fest. So it is important that we make sure that we're kind of always looking at it. And that's something our emergency management folks look at every year just to see from a public safety standpoint, how did everything go? Was it a safe fest? What are some things that we had some pain points on and what might we need to adjust for the following year? So that is something we look at every year. So I know that we're still, like, we start planning for the fest very early in advance. This is going to be an interesting year for us because, as I mentioned, we're about to knock down a village hall and have a big construction fence in there somewhere. We are still planning on holding Septemberfest on the current grounds as we always have been. So there are some logistic things we're going to have to work through, and some things are probably going to have to change a little bit to be able to accommodate. So I will say there will be changes coming forward. I just don't know what they are at this point. So, but it is something we're already starting to review, analyze, and kind of get ready for, because we are already planning for next year's fest that is underway. So, good question. Go ahead.
What was the reasoning behind changing the?
If you want to grab my 2 signs and put them back.
Safety and access. So a lot of times when we have handicap parking.
That used to be.
Yep. We've got crafters that are embarking. We have a lot of traffic flow that's happening in that area all 3 days of the fest. Then we have the parade that's going down on Monday. So there's a lot of activity that's happening in that thoroughfare. So we are always looking at it in order for us to be able to put this on and make sure people have ways to get in and get out, make sure we're offering accessible parking. We were looking at just making some of those changes to make sure we can kind of get that flow a little bit better, so.
Because I happened to use that handicap parking, and it was a shock when I went to go down this year, and it's like, well, wait a minute, can't do this way.
Yeah.
And I didn't find it as convenient as it has all the other years that I've done this, so.
Yeah, and we're still, like I said, we're still making some tweaks to it, and it's always tough when you make that change the first year, so we kind of want to see what worked, what didn't. And, with anything, it's always okay, we do it, we review it, we see, okay, did we have enough? Do we need more? Were you able to get in, get out? We had police there, we had different posts, security checkpoints there, and then, that has to change when the parade is happening, so. There's a lot of logistics that go into it, so I'm sure we'll be taking another look at it as we get closer just to figure out maybe some refinements that need to happen along there. And a lot of it too was also communicating what the changes were.
That was the problem.
Because we were pushing that out, but then we still had people that didn't know, didn't pay attention, and it was just, they're looking for it to always be the same as it was, but we are making changes.
I
And,
mean, when you've done
Yeah.
the thing for 20-some years, it's like, oh. wait.
but we gotta change it sometimes to make it better, right? And this year will be no different because it'll be different this year. So, and that's why I do stress too, a lot of the ways to, we have a lot of channels in which we're pushing out information because we've got a lot going on in the village. And there are things that maybe they were the same 20 years ago and up to 20 years, but they might be changing this year. And here's why, here's why we're doing that. So yeah, it's important for you, even if you think you know it, double check because it may have changed. So, but yeah, I appreciate your feedback on that. And certainly you can always contact our special events coordinator over at Prairie Center. They're the ones that run that fest. So if there's additional feedback you have about the fest or you want to relay anything, it's never a bad thing. So anything online?
Yeah, but I mean,
Okay,
you can
we'll
grab her first,
Go
yeah.
ahead.
Summit is the Schaumburg Street, correct?
Summit, yes.
Okay, so if you're going down Summit to heading towards Schaumburg Road from the south to the north, that intersection, the street markings are very messed up. People don't know if they're supposed to turn left, if they're supposed to turn right, or they're supposed to go straight. And I think because that street is not striped or marked properly, that's why some accidents have occurred there. There's been numerous accidents, a couple of
Yes.
fatalities at that intersection. And so I know it's the south side, but the north side could probably use a little striping there also.
Like
Okay.
a little jig and jog there that a lot of people think is a
Yes.
left turn lane.
Yes.
And so that
But then it goes
people who want to go straight,
Straight.
we stay in the
Yep.
right-hand lane. People behind you are upset because you
Yes.
didn't move over so they could turn right. And it's like, and the people who are coming south, if you're going
Yeah,
south.
it's a
you don't
tricky
know if that
intersection.
person's turning left or going straight.
Yeah, and that's something, I can relate to our transportation department. Again, I don't know what because yes, Summit is ours, but in terms of the actual intersection area, I don't know if the county has jurisdiction over any of that or not, but I can certainly pass that along. And we're aware that that is a tricky
you are aware,
intersection.
okay.
And I know that they're doing, like I said, they're doing the signal modernization, so now we have the temporary lights up over in that area. So there's a lot kind of going on there, but yes, that is an area.
I've seen Schaumburg actually striping on Summit Road.
Yeah.
So we're talking about turn and on Summit to turn on to Schaumburg Road. So we think that that would be Schaumburg's.
Yeah, and I don't know, it might be, but I can't say for sure. So I'd have to ask our transportation department on it. Or like I said, you're welcome to also give them a shout too and kind of voice those concerns, but we can certainly take that back too, so.
Thank you.
And I'm pointing because I've got someone taking notes, so.
I know this point.
She's taking notes for me, so I can't remember all this stuff, so. Any other questions online?
We have 2 final online questions. Is there work being done to broadly deploy fiber internet to Schaumburg residents? Have we considered creating our own municipal broadband network?
So I know that there's always, we look at how we can modernize our community in terms of fiber. I don't know how much that's being implemented throughout the community or if it's expanding. That'd probably be a better question for some of our folks in IT, unfortunately. I'm not the pro on the fiber connection. But again, if I have your contact information, I can certainly have our folks follow up with you on that one.
And then the final online question, how would I find out if street sweepers are still coming around?
Ooh, I believe I was going to say, I believe we have one more. Okay, so I think we do have one more cycle. I'd have to check with our Public Works Department. I know they were doing a couple cycles in the fall here, and they may have one more left. You can always call our Public Works Department. They do run our street sweeper cycles program. Or again, I'd be happy to follow up as well with an answer to that. I believe there might be one more left in this season. So good question.
Those are all our online questions.
All right, well, I want to wrap this up again by just saying thank you to those of you online who asked questions and participated in today's program, and also obviously to you who came and showed up with me today, this afternoon. I appreciate the questions, I appreciate the feedback, and as I said, I've left some business cards on the table here. There's some handouts here. As a reminder, Chris is going to send out a survey. So those of you online, I would really want to get your feedback. Those of you in person, I also want to get your feedback. Always helpful for the programs that we do going forward. So